My best friend had a much more fulfilling life than I do. I had always been very jealous of hers. I want all what she had to be mine, even her husband.
I'm Linda, 23 years old, and I live in a tiny town in Gloucestershire with my 24 years old good friend Amy. We talked about everything, from our early years to our aspirations for the future, but Amy had it all. She was a stunning, accomplished woman leading a full life that included a home. Luxurious living and a devoted spouse gave me the impression that our destinies were taking very different turns. I led a life of misery and mediocrity, with my uninteresting appearance and employment. When I look at Amy's life, I can't help but feel jealous. Every time I see her with a new car, new clothes, or luxury vacations, I start to feel unfair and self-pity. However, since my friend has so many things, I think it's natural for Amy to pay for every meal, give me things I like, or share a few things with me so I don't feel sorry for myself. Despite Amy's wealth and success, she always strives to be fair, which hints at her underlying kindness. This aspect of her character, alongside her luxurious lifestyle, only makes me envy her more, though I can't help but respect her for it. The mix of Amy's advantages, her generosity, her fairness, and my envy, creates a complicated picture of our relationship. Her life reflects what I want, but also what I lack. Yet her actions somehow create a connection between us, even amidst the jealousy and admiration I feel towards her. Sadly though, my envy and sense of competition stemmed from constant admiration, which made me want to take everything from Amy. As a result, I began to pay close attention to everything she did, hoping to find some mistake that would justify my unhappiness. Then, I would have a reason to make her husband mine. In the middle of the glittering gala, when each glistening chandelier appeared to vie with Amy's amazing universe, a small, annoying thing happened. I saved money and partied with a lot of joy to get my favorite outfit, a jade green dress that I had always wanted. Every time I put the dress on, I felt more secure because of its deep green hue, which complemented my quiet, collected, yet self-assured demeanor. Amy, caught unaware amidst her gleeful laughing, carelessly spilled her scarlet Pinot Noir, staining my cherished dress. Amy offered to buy me a new one in her favorite shade of smoky purple in exchange for replacing mine. She remarked it fit me better, and gave me a more refined appearance. Her gesture was lovely, but I wasn't fond of the new tint. Instead of purple, I had intended turquoise. True to her promise, she showed up with a swanky, smoky purple dress, her eyes gleaming with generosity. For her, it was but a small price to pay, another couture added to the heap of frivolities. But that dress to me was a symbol of the lot that I didn't have, and everything that Amy did. She rewarded my acceptance with a radiant grin, pacifying her conscience at the quick resolution. The fact that I had to alter my attire due to her error irritated me. Amy could never know how much that blue outfit and her kind smile meant to me, because she lives in such a luxurious world. Amy has the opinion that if something is broken or lost, it just needs to be replaced. Given this perspective, I wonder if she will similarly show her resilience and move on to someone else if her fiancé is no longer with her. Coincidentally, I had the opportunity to observe Amy's reaction when she suddenly discovered her husband was having an affair. Amy suffered from pain and sadness. She was lost and didn't know what to do. When Amy's husband cheated on her, it proved how wrong she was to think everything can be replaced like broken things. I really don't agree with how she sees things, so I thought about making her husband cheat again to teach her a lesson. I wanted her to realize that people and feelings are not things she can just swap out. I knew it's not just about hurting her. It's about showing her that some things are special, and she can't replace them easily. Acting on impulse, I changed to the muse style because I wanted to show myself as a simple person, not smarter than the man. I think I am myself, not fake, and this is better than the way Amy lives lavishly and shows off to her husband. Gradually, my comforting words began to bring brightness to many things in his life. I'm sure Amy doesn't do those subtle things because she's only focused on the outer shell of the relationship. Specifically, I began observing the subtleties of his life, assessing his desires, and meeting his needs. With complex delicacy, I immersed myself in his world, my words becoming a balm for his painful existence, my gestures a tacit promise of understanding. Soon, half a year had trickled away, painting our bond with colors deeper than mere friendship. Every fleeting glance held a story. Every word uttered dripped with an indiscernible trust that was uniquely ours. He had started weaving his existence around me, and I, reciprocating his sentiments, found myself relishing this unexpected turn of events. I was amazed at how well my plan was working as the days went by. Deep within myself, a torrent of emotions unfurled. The adoration I was receiving acted as an intoxicating potion, driving me further towards my unspoken desire. In the labyrinth of fleeting moments and lingering emotions, I allowed myself to bask in his admiration, the appeal of being desired blooming in my heart like a beautiful, dangerous blossom. And it was Amy's unspoken negligence, her absorption in her grandeur that subtly coaxed me into acting on my deepest thoughts. My envy and Amy's negligence morphed into a venomous cocktail, prompting me to encroach on her territory, one stolen glance at a time. He began moving in my direction, picking up on the compassion signals I was sending out. In her world of opulence, I stood far less fortunate. My life was simple and devoid of the riches that embroidered hers. Yet the universe conspires to give me with the one aspect Amy had been deprived of: her husband's companionship. Amy found out everything. I wasn't as fortunate as Amy, but even so, I didn't care at the time because Amy's spouse had already been given to me. Despite the upheaval, I felt a calm descend upon me. His affinity towards me seemed unwavering, unperturbed by the disclosure. His warmth hadn't diminished, his trust still intact, and in those moments, I recognized the victory over my circumstances. I might not have been as fortunate as Amy in terms of material wealth, yet in possession of this newfound relationship, I felt rich in ways that Amy's opulence couldn't match. His affection had painted my life with colors richer than any luxury could add, and that was a victory I was ready to embrace. When she discovered the truth, Amy felt like she was hit in the heart by an unexpected arrow. Surprise and pain must be building inside her, like a storm sweeping across the mental landscape she has meticulously constructed. This was a complicated, confusing feeling that she couldn't at all manage. Amy's eyes went from being warm and loving to being icy and aloof. Amy was shocked to see how quickly I had gone from being her best friend to betraying her. Amy undoubtedly has a deep emotional scar on her soul from this ordeal that may never fully heal. Amy might have some concerns, some misgivings in her heart over my relationship with her husband. However, Amy decided to ignore those doubts because she has complete faith in this close buddy. I was so sure about that. Amy was always convinced that our relationship was so strong that nothing, not even her husband, could damage it. Because in her opinion, I'm probably more than simply close friends, but more like family. That's why things lasted so long. So that helped me to know how compatible her husband and I were. Day after day, I realized that Amy's husband continued to play double games with my coworker, exactly the same way he did with my best friend. Amy, what a traitor to his wife and my fragile feelings. The pain was intense because my love for him was genuine and profound. Not just a fleeting attraction. I was haunted by the thought of him gradually leaving me, not understanding why I loved him so much. During that time, every day I wanted to close my eyes and go to sleep, because only by doing so could I escape the painful mood, and at least meet him, even if it was only in my dreams. I missed her surprised laugh, her soft hand on my arm, and how much I wanted to be with her again right then and then. In an attempt to save this friendship, I decided to express my chaotic emotions, thinking that our shared past and intertwined memories would make her see through her impulse my temporary stupidity. And maybe we might return to the times when we got by in life together. As I started to approach Amy with the apology I should have said earlier, and my heart heavy with guilt, an unwelcome surprise was waiting for me. Who can predict what is about to happen? Amy, in a calculated but unforeseen move, bought the apartment complex I called home. A feeling of shock and overwhelm went through me when I learned about Amy's plan. Her offer was simple. She wanted me out of town as soon as possible, in exchange for a small envelope of cash as payment for my lease. When I heard it, it felt like the ground beneath me had disappeared. I was left teetering on the edge of reality, grappling with Amy's cold, calculating judgment, which had literally driven me away from my home. Amy's cold determination was in stark contrast to the warm, friendly personality I knew. But here we were, crossing paths at another painful time of life, a place far removed from the pleasant confusion of our shared past. Life has changed, and so has Amy. Or maybe she's revealing a side of herself I never knew before. I had a really difficult time coming to terms with Amy's actual intentions. Amy's cruel side caused me to feel a strange mixture of feelings that I had never experienced before, which was a stark contrast to her innately kind disposition. Accepting Amy's new negative personality was like walking through a maze of confusion and hurt. The contrast between her past kindness and her current coldness left me feeling confused and emotionally exhausted. It was difficult to reconcile the person I thought I knew with the person standing in front of me at that moment. I had to accept that Amy's actions defined me, and worse, would determine my future, despite the agony inside of me. Has she always had these hidden agendas, or has her situation made her personality completely different? With no obvious answers in sight, questions raced through my head like leaves in a storm. Following the tumultuous events surrounding my betrayal and the unraveling of our friendship, life took divergent paths for both Amy and myself. Amy, resilient and resourceful, seemed to effortlessly navigate through the aftermath of our fallout. With her charisma and determination, she quickly rebounded from the ordeal, finding success and fulfillment in various aspects of her life. Amy's career flourished as she climbed the corporate ladder with unwavering ambition and drive. Her natural aptitude for leadership and strategic thinking propelled her to the top of her field, earning her accolades and recognition from peers and superiors alike. In addition to professional success, Amy cultivated a vibrant social life, surrounded by a circle of supportive friends who admired her warmth and generosity. Meanwhile, I found myself grappling with the repercussions of my betrayal of Amy, struggling to regain my stable life in the wake of broken dreams. The pain of being alone lingered like a dark cloud, casting a shadow over every aspect of my life. Despite my best efforts to move forward, I felt stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and despair, unable to escape the grip of past traumas. While Amy's life seemed to sparkle with accomplishment and happiness, mine paled in comparison. I watched from the sidelines as she celebrated milestones and confidently moved forward, while I remained mired in feelings of inadequacy and failure. The stark contrast between our respective paths was a constant reminder of my failure and deviations in perspective and character. In today's modern society, Amy was the epitome of success and grace, while I struggled to reconcile the person I had become with the person I once aspired to be. Despite my outward facade of strength, deep down, I harbored a profound sense of shame and unworthiness, haunted by the belief that I was undeserving of happiness or redemption. As time marched on, the gap between Amy's life and mine widened, leaving me feeling increasingly isolated and alone. While she continued to thrive and flourish, I remained trapped in a cycle of self-destructive patterns, unable to break free from the chains of my own making. In the end, the divergent trajectories of me and Amy's lives served as a poignant reminder of the power of choice and the enduring consequences of my actions. Looking back, I realized that Amy has been much more successful in life compared to me. She managed to bounce back from tough times and achieve a lot. I've learned that true happiness isn't about having lots of things. It's about accepting your situation, staying positive, valuing good relationships, and nurturing them. Even though Amy may have more money and success, if I had focused on striving for a better life and being content with what I have, maybe Amy and I wouldn't be so distant now. Amy once offered to support and help me achieve my dreams, but I saw it as pity, and it hurt my pride. My wrong perspectives and actions have hurt Amy deeply. I wonder if there's still a chance to rebuild our relationship in the future.